The crowd at Got Talent was buzzing with excitement, as contestant after contestant took the stage. Then, something unexpected happened. A quiet young man in a simple priest's robe walked out, his eyes full of calmness and humility. The audience whispered among themselves, unsure what to make of him. Some thought it was a joke, others were simply curious. As he reached the center of the stage, he smiled gently at the judges, Simon Cowell, Sofia Vergara, Howie Mandel, and Heidi Klum. Simon leaned forward and asked, "Hello, Father, what brings you here today?" The young man clasped his hands together and replied softly, "My name is Father Miguel, from the Philippines. I'm a priest, but today, I want to share a song, not just to entertain, but to remind the world of hope and faith." His words carried an authenticity that immediately caught everyone's attention. The room fell silent. Even Simon, known for his sharp remarks, looked intrigued. As the soft piano intro began, Father Miguel closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and whispered a small prayer. Then, his voice broke through, smooth, angelic, and pure. His tone was not theatrical or forced, but filled with sincerity and emotion. It was the kind of voice that didn't just reach the ears, it touched the heart. The lyrics spoke of love that heals pain, of faith that conquers despair, and of forgiveness that brings light back into the soul. The camera captured every reaction, a woman in the audience crying silently, Howie's eyebrows raised in astonishment, Sofia pressing her hand to her heart. Even Simon, who rarely shows emotion, leaned back, visibly taken aback. The song continued to build, from a soft beginning to a soaring chorus that filled the auditorium. The atmosphere felt spiritual. For a few minutes, the massive talent show felt like a cathedral, where everyone shared one emotion, peace. As Father Miguel finished, there was a brief silence. The audience didn't know whether to clap or to just stay still and take in the moment. Then, the applause erupted like thunder. People stood, cheered, and shouted his name. Simon nodded slowly, clearly impressed. Father Miguel smiled humbly, placing his hand on his chest. "Thank you, all glory to God," he said softly. His humility added even more depth to his performance. That first moment, that entrance, that voice, that prayer, was not just the start of his performance. It was the start of something far greater, a spiritual awakening that would ripple far beyond the Got Talent stage. As Father Miguel stood under the glowing stage lights, the world seemed to fade around him. His second verse began with a tone even more powerful, as if he were pouring his very soul into the melody. His song, titled, "Voice of Faith," was written during his missionary years in a poor village in Manila, inspired by people who found joy despite hunger and hardship. Every lyric reflected real pain, real hope, and real love. As he sang, images appeared on the big LED screen behind him, children laughing, families praying, churches lit by candlelight. The visuals blended perfectly with his voice, transforming the talent show into a cinematic spiritual experience. The lighting shifted to a golden hue, symbolizing divine warmth, and the audience could feel it. The chorus hit like a wave. "When darkness blinds your way, hold your heart to heaven's ray. The storm will pass, the sun will stay. You're never alone." People began standing up, waving their hands, tears streaming down their faces. Some closed their eyes, whispering prayers under their breath. The crowd was not just listening to a song, they were part of something divine. Even the camera operators were emotional, their lenses slightly shaking as they captured the extraordinary scene. When the bridge came, Father Miguel's voice cracked slightly, not from weakness, but from pure emotion. His eyes glistened with tears. He raised his hands as if surrendering everything to a higher power. "This is for everyone who's lost their faith," he said softly before singing the final line. As the music faded, silence filled the hall again, a sacred silence. Then, the crowd erupted into the loudest standing ovation of the night. Sofia cried openly, Heidi was speechless, and Howie whispered, "That was holy." Simon, however, didn't speak yet. He just stared, lost in thought, his face softening, a rare sight. Father Miguel bowed deeply, tears rolling down his cheeks. The world had just witnessed something truly rare, a moment when art, emotion, and faith became one. The applause lasted for over a minute. Father Miguel stood quietly, eyes closed, as if praying again. When the noise finally subsided, Simon leaned forward. His voice was calm, unusually gentle. "Father, I've judged this show for years," he said slowly, "but I've never felt peace like I did just now. You didn't just sing a song. You gave us something spiritual. The audience cheered again. Sofia added, her eyes shining, you didn't perform, you healed. Heidi nodded in agreement. You reminded us why we believe in something greater than ourselves, she said. Father Miguel smiled, humbled. I only wanted to remind people that love and faith can still exist in this world, he said softly. Simon looked down, then suddenly reached for the golden buzzer. The moment his hand pressed it, a burst of golden confetti rained down from above. The audience screamed in joy as the priest fell to his knees, overwhelmed. Tears streamed down his face as he looked up at the falling gold. It looked almost like sunlight breaking through heaven's clouds. Simon walked up to him and gave him a rare hug. That was a miracle, Father, he said quietly. Sofia joined them, still crying. The judges, audience, and crew gave him another standing ovation, not just for his voice, but for his message. Backstage, Father Miguel met other contestants, many of whom embraced him and thanked him. You made me want to believe again, one young singer said. That clip would later go viral worldwide, with millions of people sharing it on social media under captions like, "A priest who made Simon cry." Churches played his performance on big screens during Mass, people around the globe streamed his song, and Father Miguel's message of faith crossed boundaries of religion, age, and race. For him, it was never about fame. He continued to serve, visiting orphanages and hospitals, singing to those in pain. But now, wherever he went, people recognized him, the priest who brought heaven to the Got Talent stage. That golden buzzer moment wasn't just a victory for a contestant. It was a victory for humanity, a reminder that sometimes, the purest performances come not from ambition, but from the heart that simply wants to heal the world.